Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Jack, Conrad, 45, UEFA Champions League Group F preview. Zenit, Dortmund, Lazio, Brugge. Wide open. Dortmund, ton of fun to watch. Lazio shipping goals like crazy this year, scored a ton of goals last year. Brugge, Zenit, this is just a group of wild cards.
Exactly. I think that all these teams, considering the high level of parity, will have an incredible amount of optimism that whenever the groups are so tight, 1 through 4, there's not going to be an easy match for any of these teams. Means that the amount of points up for grabs and the amount of points required to potentially qualify for the knockout stages is probably lower than in other groups. And so that's a reason for a lot of optimism, even for Club Brugge, a four-pot team. You still, who knows, get hot, 1 or 2 big results, maybe find yourself qualifying in second place and getting through.
So Zenit, first up, they were obviously champions coming out of the Russian Super League. 65 goals scored, 18 conceded, very stingy. Dan Lovren, Champions League winner, Premier League winner, in their back line now. Travel, can it make the difference for them, right? They are the furthest club, and everybody's going to have to come to them. They've got 3 matches at home. Is it going to be enough?
Yeah. Self-proclaimed best defender in the world, Dejan Lovren in the back line for you. Wendell in the midfield also. I like that move a lot. He hasn't been able to feature too much in the side, but he could play a big impact. He's a young midfielder, good resale value down the road. And obviously Zenit, a really dominant team in your division in Russia. Can it translate? They have one of the best probabilities of qualifying according to 538, and also a greater than 1% chance of winning the whole tournament. So they're one of the dark horses according to the analytics guys. And for good reason. They're a side that have been good domestically, and if you can just get hot, avoid that travel issue with the parity, who knows?
Next up, Borussia Dortmund, second last year in the German league. 84 goals scored, 41 conceded, not a bad split. So far, 8-2 this year. They are just a ton of fun to watch. With Sancho and Haaland in that team, they just are just so dynamic.
Yeah, we could look at this team 5-6 years down the road and say, wow, they had some real superstars. Reina, Bellingham, Sancho, Haaland, those are just up front for them. And in the midfield for Bellingham, obviously. But it's a very, very exciting team to watch. And best odds according to SPI, also good chance of winning the whole tournament. And managing to keep Sancho, you could include that even higher than Emre Can in your notable transfers in, because you kept him for another season, another great season potentially, from one of the best wingers in the entire world. So for Dortmund, it's going to be very interesting how they handle being one of the bigger dogs in this group, if they can step up into that role per se.
Lazio up next. Coming off of a high-scoring last season, really rough start this year. Currently sitting 15th, 1-1-2. They've scored 4. They've shipped 8, losing badly to Atalanta and Sampdoria.
Yeah, and no Ciro Immobile in that Sampdoria match, so they'll hope that he's going to be back in this Champions League match, back fit and firing and in his good form, where he was one of the best forwards in all of Europe last season. And they were able to score goals amongst the best of them last season, and there was a big reason because Immobile was an incredibly efficient finisher. Questions of if he can maintain that form into this year. They have a lot of nice pieces over there, but it is a tough group to be in. You're the third favorite. You're going to have to upset some teams according to the analytics, and it's a question of if Immobile can get fit, get firing, you got a chance.
Last in this group, Bruges, the champions in Belgium. Belgium finished third in their Champions League campaign last year, just 3 points, ahead of only Galatasaray, who had 2. Again, a stingy club. 58 scored, 14 conceded last year in 29 games. Right now sitting first. No notable changes in the side, so this is the same club that finished third. But in another group, you'd say, yeah, thanks for playing. But they've got as good a shot as anybody to get that number 2 spot.
Definitely. Very similar odds in comparison to Lazio, which you would consider name-wise to be a much more dominant, much better side potentially. And it is rare that you see a side qualify for the Europa League through the Champions League group stage with only 3 points. But they really were, them and Galatasaray were the beat-up sides in that group last season. This year, I think they have a better chance of getting at least a win in the group. They'll have to look at Lazio as the side to try and overtake at the bare minimum, and potentially even Zenit and Dortmund should they not have a great run of form. So for Bruges, it's been on loop. Got a chance, get a good run of form. You have that chance, as I've said multiple times for all of these teams.
That said, we don't give Bruges much of a chance, either of us. I really wanted to see Lazio get into that second place spot, but just their form thus far doesn't leave you all that confident that they can do it.
Especially considering how fast matches are going to be coming over the next several months. Poor form, poor fitness is going to really kind of ramp up whenever you look back and you say, ooh, there were some bad results back when we were not out of form, out of fitness. Only 6 matches. It's going to be a very tight group, and we have it very similarly in our eyes. Dortmund is the favorites, Zenit slightly behind, and Lazio and Brugge needing some upsets to try and break our predictions.
That'll do it for Group F. Jack, Connor, this has been The 45. Please like, comment, subscribe, tell us what you think, and always look for us on the Twitter at The 45. Take care now.